Fact number 1. Rocks that move on their own. Imagine you're walking through the desert and notice a huge rock. Nothing unusual. But then you see a long trail behind it, as if someone was dragging it along the ground. The problem is, there are no people, animals, or vehicles around. Just the desert. And there are dozens of such rocks. For many years, scientists couldn't figure out how they moved. Some people even considered it mystical. But the solution turned out to be no less intriguing. In winter, a very thin layer of ice sometimes forms on the surface. When the sun begins to melt it, large sheets of ice slowly move under the force of the wind. They push the rocks forward just a few centimeters at a time. The movement is so slow that it's almost impossible to notice. Therefore, for a long time, no one witnessed the process with their own eyes. This is how the mysterious tracks that have made these rocks one of America's most famous natural mysteries are formed. Fact number 2. A lake that can explode. When we look at a lake, it appears to be one of the most tranquil places on the planet. But some lakes conceal a deadly danger. Vast quantities of carbon dioxide sometimes accumulate beneath the surface of volcanic lakes. For years, it remains buried deep within, producing no symptoms. But if an earthquake or other imbalance occurs, all the gas can suddenly burst forth. Imagine a bottle of soda that's been shaken vigorously and then opened. Only millions of times more powerful. A cloud of gas rises above the water and spreads across the land. Since carbon dioxide is heavier than air, it displaces oxygen. The most eerie thing is that this gas is invisible. The lake appears completely ordinary until the energy for a natural explosion begins to accumulate within it. This is one of the rarest and most unusual phenomena on our planet. Fact number 3. There's trash on the moon. When humans first landed on the moon, it was considered one of humanity's greatest achievements. But along with scientific discoveries, another thing appeared on the moon. Trash. During space missions, astronauts left various objects on the surface. Old tools. Equipment parts. Packaging. Cables. And even some personal belongings. The reason was quite simple. Every extra kilogram hindered the delivery of more important lunar soil samples to Earth. Therefore, some items remained in place. Today, hundreds of human-made objects are found on the surface of the moon. It turns out that the first place beyond Earth visited by humans already bears traces of human activity. And perhaps, thousands of years from now, future researchers will study these objects as archaeological finds from our era. Fact number 4. A fish that climbs trees. When you hear the word fish, you probably picture a creature that lives only in water. But nature has decided to break this rule. There's a fish called the mudskipper. And it can spend a lot of time on land. This amazing fish uses its fins almost like legs. It crawls through the mud. It jumps. It explores the shore. And sometimes it even climbs tree roots. The most unusual thing is that it can obtain oxygen not only from water. Its body has adapted to life between two worlds. Therefore, the mudskipper feels comfortable in places where most fish would die in minutes. If you saw it for the first time, you might think you were watching one of the first creatures to emerge from the ocean onto land. That's why this fish is considered one of the most unusual animals on Earth. Fact number 5. Underwater waterfall. Waterfalls are usually found on the surface of the Earth. But near the island of Mauritius, there's a place that looks like a real waterfall underwater. From above, the view is incredible. It seems as if enormous masses of water are falling into the ocean abyss. Many people think this is a unique underwater waterfall. But the truth is even more interesting. In reality, this is a gigantic optical illusion. Beneath the water lies a steep slope of the ocean floor. Currents constantly move sand and small particles down this slope. Viewed from above, it seems as if the ocean is literally flowing into a vast underwater abyss. The illusion is so realistic that even in photographs it's hard to believe your eyes. This is one of those places that proves that nature is capable of creating effects as impressive as Hollywood's most expensive special effects. Fact number 6. A cave with its own clouds. Clouds are usually associated with the sky. But there is a place where clouds form deep underground. In some giant caves, the temperature and humidity create ideal conditions for fog formation. When warm, moist air meets the cooler space inside the cave, water vapor begins to condense. Gradually, real clouds form. They can move slowly through tunnels and halls, like living creatures. Imagine descending underground and suddenly finding yourself inside a cloud. Such a sight looks almost surreal. Some visitors compare it to science fiction films. But this isn't computer graphics. This is a real natural phenomenon that reminds us how amazing our world can be. Fact number 7. Lightning that never stops. Most thunderstorms last a few minutes or hours. But there's a place on our planet where lightning strikes almost constantly. This is the Lake Maracaibo region in Venezuela. During thunderstorm season, the sky here flashes thousands of times a night. Sometimes lightning flashes for 10 hours straight. Imagine standing on the shore and seeing an endless lightning storm. Flash. Another one. And another. Again and again. For centuries, sailors used this phenomenon as a natural beacon. Bright flashes were visible for miles. Scientists believe the cause is a unique combination of warm air, humidity, and local terrain. But even today, this spectacle is incredible. If you saw such a thunderstorm for the first time, you might think you were watching a giant electrical storm from a sci-fi movie. However, this is a completely real place on Earth.